Good evening, everyone, and welcome to another episode of our Claws and Fangs and Revolvers, the Werewolf the Wild West game. I'm the Ravnos Archon. My name is Will, and I will be your storyteller this evening. Last we left off with our group. We opened up with Jonathan, our Philodox, and the little Weaver spirit that made its way from Conflict, Colorado, all the way out to the cairn itself. To bring him news that his aunt was not well, and brought him out of the cairn before that he could meet the rest of his pack. But we got to see that sometimes a Weaver spirit can become wild again if it spends too much time away from the city. And this little spider had already started to lose some of its hard, angled lines in favor of the soft, kind of curved, natural hairy legs of a spider out in the wilds. But he placed it on his clothing. He saw it eat some of the other smaller Weaver spirits attached to his clothing and start to revert back. But then he followed the thread back to the Rutherford where he is staying with his aunt. And he saw that she had had a fainting spell. She mentioned that she could not find any respite from her crimes, quote unquote. And it seems that even out here, her tribe seems to be capable of holding her responsible for what she has done. She did mention that it might have something to do with what's going on in the mines, and that things might need to be checked out in her stead. But she did reveal that she had a meeting next week with Mr. Gentry over at the Gold Digger. But she bedded down for the night. We hopped over to Pepe and Ardis, who had approached the Gold Digger. They saw the bartender point them out to a sharp-dressed man who began to follow them as they tried to avoid the establishment as a whole. And they spoke about going to the church and checking it out, and about their respective histories with faith. And then the distinguished gentleman introduced himself after catching up to them as Malcolm Ian Gentry. He explained that the behavior that Pepe had been given the night before had been, or was going to be reprimanded, and he revealed that he is only one of the owners of the Gold Digger and that he will take care of any missteps that happen in the future. He revealed that there are 3 total owners of the establishment, and they followed him back to the bar where they saw him kind of step aside with the rude bartender that had been not so kind to Pepe a couple of nights ago. But he did introduce him to one of the other owners, which is a black gentleman named Lucius Olson. And after having to deal with a rambunctious patron, Pepe introduced his fist to the guy's face after he had fired a gun way too close to Ardis. They were given shots of tequila as they stepped aside to chat with Lucius, and we switched over to Cora and Walks of Spirits as they came up with an arrangement to handle the actual spirits of the mine and what they could expect to find in there. They were interrupted by Layla as she came looking for bandages for Anastasia, and she mentioned that one of the girls at the Gold Digger had had a bad spill, which is code for they got beaten by one of the patrons. Anastasia mentioned that she could try to sneak them into the Gold Digger since Cora insisted on trying to be of help. And they patched up the girl, and they found out that it was a man named Victor, who was celebrating a little bit too roughly. Excuse me. Cora invited the girl back to the Gilded Apple during the day to teach her some things about taking care of herself to make sure that this doesn't happen again. And just as they were about to leave, they bumped into Mr. Gentry, who saw that they had come over to help out and insisted on paying for the bandages, which he gave Cora an abundance of money in $6. Ardis and Pepe overheard the end of their conversation, and the 3 of them ended up leaving the Gold Digger together. They got back and chatted about the evening with Walks of Spirits, And Cora stepped aside with Pepe to explain what had happened because she noticed that Artis was in some kind of pain. They warned Layla about not wanting Victor in the establishment, and she completely understood. And the next day, we got to see Jonathan have a little moment with his aunt as a letter had arrived for him that simply read Cora Leventis on one line, the Gilded Apple on the second, and she tried to warn him about the cairn being run by Red Talons and how they might not appreciate a city wolf among them. Was told that there could be a silver pack in the making, but she didn't really explain it to him. She told him she had a meeting with Lucius, and then left him to finish his breakfast, and that's when he made his way over to the Gilded Apple to introduce himself. Walks with Spirits managed to reach out and talk to the Weaver Spirit. We got to see a nice little tiny baby spider accent come out. And it told him it was here to help, and told him it was here to watch over the Iron Rider, and that it considered him his friend since he had fed it his clothes. And it wants to be friend with everyone at the table, ideally. But after breakfast, they stepped into a side office where Pepe hid some toast in his pocket. They got into the room and noticed all the Weaver Spirits around them. And then Jonathan explained how he came in contact with a spider. They learned that they have about 9 days left to complete the task set before them, and the group brought the Iron Rider up to speed. Walks of Spirits asked one of the wall spiders about the children of Yonog, and it created a wooden shell of a tarantula-like body for itself to materialize, and they learned that there is a gate that has been opened in the mountain, a rift that they learned that the humans have ruptured a storm gate in the Umbra, and that Stormborn have come through into the real world. The spider tried to climb onto Artis, but was knocked off by Pepe, and we left off with all of this new information sitting on the table and their path laid out before them. And this is where we're going to find our intrepid group of misfits. I mean, werewolves. It's good to see all of you again.
Hey, hey, hey.
Hi.
But you have the full day ahead of you. It is maybe 10 in the morning. How would you like to proceed?
You have 9 days.
You have 9 days.
Or 8 days. 9? Okay.
Yeah.
9 days, 10 a.m.
Mm-hmm.
Do my daily routine. Working out,
Yep.
None of that.
Get you a green juice.
Wrong game. Shit. So we're there. So we're all there. I'm guessing in the room, correct?
Yep.
In the office.
Yeah, you're still in the side room. You still have that wooden tarantula walking around.
Okay.
To the mines?
To the mines.
It's broad daylight though.
That's kind of the problem is we can't really get a full look in broad daylight because people know my face, people know your faces. Maybe not yours. She kind of points at Walks with Spirits. People will definitely recognize you. You stick out. And that was at
They were
right?
I definitely stick out because I'm a good-looking, handsome fella, so that stands out in a town like this.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true.
Pero what if we, cause a distraction that they have to get off work early? They have to shut down the mines for the day. Leave us the opportunity to
Look. That could be could be done, but I don't know exactly. I'm not on the up when it comes to mining. Oh, I think we do know someone that might be on the up when it comes to mining.
I look at
Cartwright, do you know
Cart-
anything about mining?
look at Cartwright.
I do not, but I am looking. My business does take me in those areas. I might need to go survey the mines themselves. Can I have a question for the storyteller?
Sure.
Is Cora is your the one lady who asked the question that made it suspicious whether or not she was a werewolf? Is she in the room?
No.
Okay.
Layla's not in the room.
Okay. Can I just be told the next time she's in our vicinity?
Yeah. You got
Okay. I just want to make sure that's done. But I am trying to start business here that will revolve materials from the mines. I could use that as an excuse to go over there.
Not a bad idea.
You're okay, Cartwright. You're okay.
Cartwright,
Sue.
You could also go seeking vengeance upon Victor.
That's true. Cartwright, what are they looking for in the mine?
Oh, I
What's
have no clue.
curious? Is it gold?
I have no clue what's happening at the mine at all.
Maybe
just-
if we can find out the resource that they're finding in the mine and we start a rumor that somebody here has an extreme amount of that resource, that might distract some people. Do you know what's in the mine, Cora? Or what they're mining for?
Storyteller, I'm assuming it's gold, but I've been here long enough that I think I probably know what's.
It started with gold. It has moved into iron, and there has been occasional pockets of silver that have been found.
Started originally with gold, but it's gone into iron, and there are occasional pockets of silver.
Well, that
So-
would be an option, wouldn't it? If we get them to think that there's a lot of gold in a certain other area of town?
Is silver bad?
Yeah, silver's bad.
That's not good. We don't like that, right?
No.
Mm-mm.
Silver
No.
hurts.
I know World of Darkness likes to throw the conventions off a little, so I don't want to just say, "Whoa, it's silver bad."
You know,
like-
silver is bad.
Okay, because that could be a problem if they're trying to mine as much silver under the guise of gold.
The Assay Office isn't too far away. It's just off of Main Street. Turn on to Main Street off of First Avenue, and go down a couple buildings. So you could find out there what's been coming in recently.
That's a good idea. I love all the energy that's coming out of this right now. This is good. Why don't we instead of picking to do just one, why don't we do all three?
Does this include the revenge on Victor?
Yes,
So that's always that's priority.
that's going to be a priority. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It's a
we should-
reason for you to be there, Cora.
Mm-hmm.
Do I know that Victor and the person I punch out are the same people? Is the same person?
No.
Oh, okay. I'd like to get my hands on Victor.
Just because you want to punch somebody?
No, I
Again?
don't like what I heard. He mistreats the women, and that's not a good thing.
Indeed. And you can almost see Cora's hand has been on the table, and there is definitely this kind of clack to her nails on the table at the mention of Victor.
For the record, the person I punched was not a gentleman, and he deserved every bit of it, and probably even more. That he got knocked out early.
I believe it. She kind of rubs her ear a little bit. I believe it.
He went me early.
Oh, so we're after another individual too. The one that hurt our dear turtle dove here.
He's missing a tooth.
So if you both are going after Victor, where should the rest of us go?
I think I'm heading towards the mining office. If anybody wants to go with me there. I'm sorry, that's going to be difficult for me to remember. Walks with spirits. Since you can speak to the Weaver, would you like to come with?
To an office?
Yes, in case we need to ask them more questions about the mines. I think.
Well, it seems like Walks with Spirits, your options are to either go with him to an office or go with me. And I know that you're not a particular fan of mine either.
Rocking a hard place.
I have spiders.
As our alpha will. I will go.
Alpha Core, right?
Wait. You two are going together. I'm going with Cora. What is you by yourself?
I can do it. Where am I going to go? Tell me where to go and I'll go.
Chris, how many fingers am I holding up?
Oh, don't be rude.
Not trying to be rude, Chavala, but this town is not the safest place. You see how they treat women and everything. I know you can probably defend yourself, plus with everything, you're more than just human, but still.
I think that if I go in a mine, I will do just fine. Because what light will I have to use?
You bring up a good point.
Mm-hmm. I would say I'm the most advantaged out of all of you who need to see it with their eyes.
How about you come with us to the mining office, and then the three of us can go to the mines together?
Why don't you meet me there?
I won't argue that.
Are you sure you want to do this, Artist?
Yeah. Yes.
She says she can do it, she can do it.
All right.
Walks with Spirits, are you going to the office or are you coming with me?
I think I'll go with you.
There you go.
And there's definitely this look from Cora
Simultaneous nodding from everybody else.
to Walks with Spirits with a little bit of a wink.
I think it's important to find out what the spirits are intending. We can avoid people.
I can avoid people.
The only thing Cora is thinking when she hears that is how dirty Artist's dress was when she met her. But yeah, there's definitely that look at Walks with Spirits. All right, go with her. Make sure she stays safe.
I'll lead the way.
We will meet up at the mines relatively soon, I would assume.
Okay.
at least reconvene somewhere nearby the mines and talk about everything we found.
Do I know the way to the mines?
I mean, the mines are to the west of the city. So
It is where I had passed by before with the people camping, right?
kind of. It's on the way to the cairn. Like everyone knows that to go to the cairn, you have to pass a silver mine. So
So it's called the Silver Mine?
the one of them is the silver mine. Like that's where they found the most the most what's it called, robust vein of silver. So it's become the main tunnel that they've kind of dug down into.
Perfect.
There's definitely just this clap on Walks with Spirit's shoulder.
Yep.
I'm trusting you with this.
Your trust is not misplaced.
At this point, how well can I communicate with the spider that's with me?
I mean, do you have spirit speech?
No.
Then you are trying to figure out what R2D2 is beeping and booping about.
But it can understand me, right? From what I've gathered?
Yeah, from what you've gathered.
Okay. I'm going to whisper at the spider.
Yep.
And I'm just going to say protect them. And I'm going to just put it on Artis's dress.
Okay. You see that some of the other Weaver spirits on the dress start to come out to investigate the new spider.
On my dress?
Yeah. And it immediately destroys them.
Yes.
And just eats them.
I am going to be Dr. Love Strange or whatever from Wild Wild West in a giant tarantula mech by the end of this game.
The tarantula, sensing that its usefulness has come to an end, dematerializes and just leaves the kind of broken pieces of itself there on the desk.
Okay. So the reason why I brought this up earlier, I have scent of the true form, which is a Philodox gift, which allows me to determine the true nature of a person. This information is conveyed as an olfactory sensation. It is actually a scent of the target's natural form. Any spirit, servant of the Gaia, can teach this gift. But in the system, I can tell automatically when somebody is a werewolf. That's the first thing.
Yep.
The second thing is I can roll to see if somebody is anything else, and is determined by successes.
Yep.
I wanted to make sure that was known because I was in contact with that girl from earlier.
Oh yeah. If you are using Scent of the True Form as you are about to leave the room, you will know that she is not Guru.
Can I roll to see if she's something else?
I think Scent gives you for free Guru and Kinfolk.
It says here, anything else requires a Perception plus Primal Urge roll. It takes 2 successes for vampires, fairies, or other shapeshifters as such, and it takes 4 to detect Fomori and mages.
Wow,
so I could roll that.
As a mage DM, I'm slightly offended that they categorize them with Fomori.
Yeah, that made me go.
That offends me on a subliminal level.
Yeah.
Go ahead and roll your perception and primal urge. Let's see if Layla is hiding something.
Oh, these are tiny.
This is gonna be fun.
Primal Urge, where are you?
Under abilities, I believe. Leftmost one. Talents.
It's right there.
There it is. Okay, that's 0. So
Good.
That means it doesn't add any dice. Doesn't take any.
the new werewolf, you got to swap out a die for hunger. None of that happens here.
That's
right?
not
These
here.
are regular.
That's here.
Nice.
Nice.
Yeah.
Layla is definitely Guru. She's definitely not Farah either. But she does have the faint lineage of kinfolk.
As soon as I'm out of anybody, I'll tell her this
Okay.
information. I'll just walk by her and just tell her, Frayla has heritage to kinfolk.
Are you sure?
I can smell.
It's you almost like the scent of wet fur in the distance, bit of lily and mountain snow.
That means a thing. I probably won't think, as my character, I probably won't think anything of it.
Yep.
So I probably wouldn't mention that part.
Okay.
As useful it might be.
I just wanted to give you what olfactory sense you got from her.
Okay. Yeah. Stop that.
So I just up to her and going,
That's kind of creepy.
No, just
Yeah. Just
I do. You smell
Smelling.
so fetching.
sitting in a corner and just
Listen.
smelling in the direction of everyone.
This is a gift. I assume I had to do nothing out of the ordinary to use it. To bite her.
But you also do get another ping from above. One of the girls on the balcony has come back with the scent of blood, the scent of dirt, and just this combination of what can be described as soul vomit.
No.
Visceral.
Oh no. Can I safely assume vampire?
No, it's broad daylight.
No, but I don't know, maybe she was with one.
No, it's coming off of her entirely.
Okay.
You imagine that this is what one of the Pharaoh might smell like.
One of the what? Sorry?
The Pharaoh.
Yeah.
Yeah, the other shapeshifters.
Okay. I will definitely tell Cora this.
Please do. Please.
Yeah, no. That one.
Please, information.
Having two different scent profiles would probably make me. I tell her about it all.
Okay.
It's one of those things like the first one, I'm like, oh, she smells nice. The second one, oh, there's different scent profiles. I tell her all the things.
Yeah. Like as your nose kind of to move from one to the other, you can smell just like their sweat, the regular musk, whatever they had for breakfast that was kind of dominant, like if they had tomatoes or if they had like peppers. But it only comes back with that combination of scents, and then this girl and in between two other girls on the top railing, like she comes back with this just pungent aroma.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
This is definitely a conversation for a later time. We have business to deal with. And there's
Yeah.
definitely, you kind of see her roll her shoulders back a bit. And it's, take care of the place. I have to go out and do this. We need to talk. Yeah. That's my girl.
Yeah. She claps her hands and she starts to order people around. You heard her. I'm in charge.
Just until I get back.
Yeah, and you hear people groaning. I'm in charge again. But yeah, you see that she just starts to order people around. Francis with the back does not want to be anywhere near a in charge.
True. She'll boss us all to death.
Yeah.
People think I'm bossy.
Yeah, so Garrett just kind of like slinks into his office and just quietly closes the door.
All right. When we get back, we now the other one again. Conversations need to be had on both fronts. Apparently, I need my house in order.
So who's going where?
Me and Mock Spirits are in the mine.
To the Assay Office alone, and Pepe and Cora are looking for Victor. Okay.
For him right now.
Okay.
It's just
We're gonna start turning over the stones.
we know he's out there.
Yep.
I don't need to be there this late in the morning.
You know he's going ass. I'm gonna where he usually like looking in the mine, and if he's not at the gold digger.
Did the girl show up?
No, she not showed up.
Oh, because that would have been helpful.
It would have been helpful.
You know where she is. And you know
She's one of the working girls there.
she might be. Huh?
Probably still there.
Good place to go.
I guess I can make it like I'm just checking up on her.
Okay, so you two start making your way to the gold digger. In the Assay office, you can see that there are just jars of dirt here and there somewhere with a date. You can imagine it was tested or in, but you can see the old gentleman sitting behind the counter is currently weighing what looks to be a silver nugget. And as you enter, you immediately feel that revulsion in your soul towards this little piece of rock that's maybe no bigger than the first segment of your thumb. But the gentleman sees you come in. Hello, hello! How are you, boy?
Is that the office?
That's the Assay office.
Oh, sorry.
Okay. But he wants you to come in. Come in, come in!
Welcome. Good morning.
Morning.
I just wanted to ask you a couple of questions about the mine. See what the work's been done there.
He looks you up and down, and you see him put down the little gun that he was using. You don't look like the mining type, son. I mean, you just don't look like you have the constitution for it.
Quite true. I need to start a business venture in this town.
Oh,
And
yeah.
so I just need some information.
You don't want
about
to.
what's
You don't want to go to the mine. Then you want to go straight to the source, boy. You know, Mr. Sirix or Spencer on the mine.
Okay. Yes. Can you tell me what has been dug up recently?
Oh well, you're looking at it, and he kind of tosses the nugget of silver at you. It just feels completely uncomfortable.
I grab it and I look at it and I pretend it's great.
Yeah.
Good quality, and I put it up to my eye and I put it down the desk.
He puts it back on the.
It's so nice.
Yeah, yeah. I haven't finished my research, but it looks like it's close to the pure stuff that we're looking at here, unfiltered.
Okay. Do you know if this vein was found recently? Since this vein has been found, has this become the primary resource?
Oh
that's
yeah.
Been
Oh yeah.
dug up? Yeah. Billions these days.
Yeah. Oh, the government's paying good money for it. We don't want to know what the tunnels are given. But this is what's going to put the city on the map. So we'll bring the road up.
Quite right. Can I glimpse? I'm not talking to him.
Yeah.
Can I glimpse like a ledger? Do like very quickly? I know that I'd probably have to get a really good look at them, but could I get like a decent idea if everything that's being dug up is being used and sold properly?
It looks like he has a ledger behind the desk on a lower level than what he's using to measure, but it's kind of obscured from you right now. So you'd have to be able to get around to that side or have him show you the ledger, which would be difficult, you think?
I do think. Definitely do. Okay. Let's see. I want to make this a wasted trip.
Sure. I mean, I don't think it's wasted. You got some information.
Yeah. I just want to get more.
You greedy little bitch.
Okay. Do you know of any expedition groups out into the mines or parts of the mines that haven't been discovered yet? Any groups that want to find who are looking for that kind of work?
Oh. Well, Mr. Pendleton or Mr. Syrinx might be the better people to ask about that, sir. Do you have any geological knowledge on under your belt?
Not one
could-
bit.
Oh, never mind then. I could always use some help. But if you don't know anything, then you're not good to me, boy.
Quite right. Do you know whereabouts Penterton and his associates can be found?
The Mr. Pendleton can usually be found at the Rutherford. That's where he lives out of. Mr. Syrinx likes to live on the actual mountain itself, so he's a little bit more difficult to find. But he comes into town every now and then, stocks up on supplies, so you might be able to find him at the general store.
Okay. And your name was, sir, again?
My name is Jonathan, sir.
Jonathan.
Yeah.
So is mine. And I reach out my hand to shake his.
He shakes your hand fervently. One good thing that you know about Jonathan, we're good people.
Or we tried to be. And with that, I laugh and I thank him for his time.
Yeah, you see him thinking about what you said.
You have a good one, okay?
You too.
All right, so I'm going to head over to the meeting spot with my findings.
Okay. Artists and Walks of Spirits, as you separate from Jonathan Cartwright and continue heading west out of town, you can see that there is what looks to be some kind of commotion coming from up in the hills. It looks like something is going on at the mine itself.
Okay. The mine isn't very far, is it? You said it was like 20 minutes from where we were?
Yeah, it is easily, if you're just on a normal hiking pace, it's a 20. Found something and another group is making claim to it. So you've got a standoff of sorts that's kind of stopped the action from going on. It looks like something is being fought over.
Ooh.
Two factions are feuding. Let's see if we can go off the path a little, and perhaps you can hear.
Well, if they're feuding, that's perfect, because that gives us an opportunity to kind of sneak past them and go into the mines unnoticed.
Maybe so.
Ha! Could you lead me completely around them? And is there a way for us to get in without being noticed? Is there any room between this quarrel and the entrance to the mine?
Given that there are several entrances to the mine, and there's only the only difficult part that would be between you and them is the elevator, the kind of cart that they take to get down into the floors faster. But if you just wanted to like go into a tunnel, it's fairly easy to find one, kind of make your way in without them noticing.
Yeah. Walks the
Should we
spirits?
try to hear what the dispute is first?
No.
Okay.
Let's go into darkness. The
Darkness.
dispute is happening. All we had to do was have a dispute. We didn't even have to make one. They're already disputing. Let's go.
As their kind are like,
Oh, okay.
let us move.
Okay.
So I'll guide us up.
All right.
Keep an eye on these folks.
Sure. They're heated. By the time that you get up to an upper ledge where you can see that there are two different tunnel entrances, you can see that they're already coming to blows. Like people are fighting.
Sounds awful.
This could be the influence of taint on.
You think?
It's hard to tell. They're greedy on their own.
I think that they're pretty energetic on their own as well. So I'm good not investigating any further.
I guess that's a quick like system, world cosmology thing.
Mm.
But as I understood it, is like all greed expression of like the worm's taint on the world, or like all malice and
Extreme versions of vices have always been attributed to the worm. Simple, like if you got an extra quarter in your change, like that's not the worm's influence on you. But like if you go out and you actually like embezzle money, like that is worm taint.
So into the darkness.
Okay. As you start to make your way into one of the tunnels, we come back to Cora and Pepe at the entrance to the gold digger. And you see that outside on one of the tables on the porch, you can see Lucius reading a newspaper, drinking from a coffee cup, and he looks down at the two of you as you approach. Oh, wow.
I tip, give him one of those nods with a hat.
Good day, good day. What can I do for the both of you?
I'm just stretching my legs,
Oh,
stretch out my arms awkwardly.
morning constitutional.
I was here to check on Anastasia. That was her name, right? Storyteller.
That was the name of the girl that asked for the bandages.
Yeah.
And
her
the girl that was beat up is actually there. It is. Alice.
Yeah. I was just coming to check up on Alice. Her spill yesterday made me worry.
Oh, I wish I could tell you she was here, but she left early in the morning.
Oh. Can I tell if he's bullshitting, Storyteller?
You can certainly try to roll
Yeah.
a perception and I'll say alertness or empathy. Your choice.
All right.
Alertness would be a little rougher. Empathy would be a little easier.
Oh, what's the difficulty?
I will say if you're going off of alertness, it'll be difficulty 8. If you're going off
Empathy?
of empathy, it'll be difficulty 6.
Okay. All right. If I remember in old editions,
Mhm.
If you get 10s, you get to re-roll extra dice.
If you have a specialty.
Oh, I do not have a specialty, so that would be. It's still 2 successes. I did get a 1, so I didn't botch, but
Yeah. Yeah, it looks like he is not being honest with you. Like he keeps darting inside, over his shoulder and kind of playing with the newspaper edges.
I'm sad I missed her. Very much extrapolated. I'm so sad. I miss seeing Alice and Anastasia. I wonder where they might have gone to. And, I'm being loud enough to be heard on the inside.
Yeah.
That's kind of what I'm getting through. That's a damn shame.
Yeah.
Damn shame.
He nods. He throws his coffee out into the street, and you see him start to fold up the newspaper and put it under his arm. He's like, I wish I knew where she had gone off to, because she did get hurt last night, and so we want to be careful with her.
That was my exact thoughts. I was just checking in on her since, I helped bandage her and get her back up.
I bet she's probably at the doc's office, if anything.
Yeah.
If you see her there, send her back.
Sure. I will. We always take care of our own.
Yeah. And you see him nod to both of you. Steps back into the actual bar.
He's an interesting man. Good man. There's Senor Lucius. Seems very helpful.
He's a fucking malacca. That's what I say whenever he gets far enough away that where he couldn't hear.
Yeah. Yep.
He's lying.
Senor Lucius. I'm sure.
I'm pretty sure Alice is still in there.
Buenos. We don't have anywhere important to be, per se. I'm in a mood to play some cards inside right now. I don't know if you want to keep me company, Cora. Make sure I don't lose my money.
I'll come with you. And it's just that kind of little nod of, I'll come with you.
I wink back like,
Yeah. We'll see. We'll see if there's anyone at a table for you.
So I go inside.
You see
Yeah, there's
Lucius is behind the bar now. There's one guy sitting at the piano, just kind of like softly playing a couple of notes, just trying to make a melody out of it. And at one of the half moon tables, you do see that there's a guy that looks like he's sitting at the dealer spot, just kind of shuffling cards, playing with different card tricks like the one-handed cut, or kind of like moving them in such a way that the cards cut themselves, things like that.
Mm-hmm.
oh. I go sit at that table.
Okay. And you see there's a couple of girls standing on the balcony of the landing between the first and second floor, but none of them are Alice or Anastasia.
Yep. There's definitely just kind of that quick scan.
Yeah, but the bartender kind of smiles as you sit down and shuffles the cards like, "What are we playing?"
Say, yeah, what do you? While you're doing these fancy card tricks, it's kind of intimidating, scary. Yeah.
Oh no! I just try to keep myself, from dying of boredom during the day. Not a lot of people come in here playing cards.
You make it seem so easy. I don't know. I don't know if I can ever do that. I'm so clumsy with my hands.
Oh, it's just practice. Just practice.
I guess. What's that game that you gringos like to play? Poker. I'll play some poker, I guess.
Okay. You want to play for money or you want to play for fun?
What do you suggest? Dealer's choice is what they say, right?
All right, we'll play for fun.
Okay.
I don't want to chase away a new friend just yet. And you see him shuffle. He pops up a card with his finger, and it flips up, and then he kind of throws the deck into his other hand so that it's open, and he catches the card.
You're good. You're good. Good.
It's only good if I can get that ace to land in my hand, sir. And he deals out 5 cards to you, 5 cards to himself, and then he puts the deck in the center.
He said that. I'm thinking in my head. I'm like, Pepe's like, I can do that with my eyes closed.
But he goes, 1 drop, and then we see what we have. So I'll let you drop your hand first.
I look at my hand.
You've got maybe 2 7s, Jack, and a 2-3.
I don't know if these are good cards, and I put my cards so you can see them on the table. What do you think?
He looks at your hand. He goes, "Oh, I mean, off the bat, you would have beat me." And he puts down his hand, and you can see that he's got 2 5s, a king, a queen, and an ace. You got a better hand.
Yeah, but you have a king and an ace. Those are good cards.
Yeah, not by themselves.
Oh.
Oh, now you're getting it, Pepe. Now you're getting it.
And he turns to look at Cora. He's like, you don't have a card dealer at the Apple?
Not this early in the day.
Yeah, okay, that's what I thought. And he looks back at Pepe. Yeah, he looks back at Pepe. Nobody plays during the day. It's not a day game.
I'm playing in the day, so it became a day game.
You're right. This is a day game.
So since I had more than 1 card, I win.
Yeah, you would have won this hand if you had kept it. I would have traded in my 3 good cards, as you said, and tried to see what would have popped up. And you see him draw a 8, a 9, and then another 5. And he's like, "Oh, see, I would have drawn into my 5s, so I would have won."
would have won because you would have had. He would have had
3 5s.
the trips. Yeah.
Yeah.
You would have won because you had 3 5s.
3 5s.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, this is not so hard. I mean, with you and your fancy tricks, you make it seem really hard. It's like, you know.
Half of the game is making sure that your opponent is off kilter.
Hey, I don't know what that means, but yeah, I'm nodding my head too. Yeah.
Well, this is going on, storyteller.
Yeah.
I'm going to try and work my way up the stairs. I mean, I have money. I could pay for.
No, everybody
visit.
recognizes you, so they don't stop you. Nobody harass you.
Yep.
But yeah, you go up. Are you looking to go straight to the room that they took you in last night?
No, what I'm going to do is I'm going to talk to one of the girls and offer some money for a walk,
Okay.
if you will.
Yeah. She just kind of looks at you, is like, all right. I mean, we can walk around for $1 if you like, Cora.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's fine.
And she starts to, very, very big gestures, just kind of give you the tour that she would have given a regular patron. This is this room, this is that room, whatever. And she just walks you around.
And it becomes a little bit of a subtle talk. Is Alice okay?
Oh, and she kind of looks around to make sure that you're not within earshot of Lucius or anyone else. And she goes, we don't know. After Victor got punched last night, he came back and demanded that we give him Alice for the rest of the night. Put down $20 for her. So we don't know where she is.
You don't know where she is at all?
No. She could have been back by now.
Any idea where they would have?
I mean, I think Victor lives up in the miners' camp on the hills.
I pull out my wallet and instead of just giving her $1, I give her 6. The same 6 that Lucius gave me last night.
Ian.
Oh, Ian, sorry.
Mr.
That
Gentry.
Ian gave me last night.
Okay. Her eyes widen, and she's like, Cora, this is too much.
Y'all need to take care of yourselves.
No.
I want to make sure that whatever's happened to Alice doesn't happen to you or any of these girls.
I'll make sure some of the other girls get some of this too.
There's just kind of this nod. Is it okay to go into Alice's room again? Is it all right?
Yeah, I mean, Anastasia's in there now.
Okay.
She takes you
Why
over.
don't you just... Yeah, that's exactly what I was going for. The gentle lead around.
And she knocks softly, and you hear Anastasia's voice, come in. And you see that Anastasia's just kind of like getting ready. It looks like there's a half-eaten plate of eggs and bacon on the counter. And she immediately shoots up when she sees your reflection in the mirror. And she just turns around, startled. Cora!
Thank you. And I shut the door.
Okay.
And it's... So, Victor came back.
I mean, he never left, honestly. He got into it with somebody, got his tooth knocked out, and then he came back up here trying to prove that he's a man.
There's just this kind of nod, the process. But she's definitely breathing a little heavier.
Yeah.
There is a bit of a flush to her her skin tone, which her skin is kind of swarthy, kind of, so it's a little difficult to tell, but there's a point. There's just that subtle point that you notice that when it's gone a little too far.
I'd almost want to see you do a stamina and primal urge roll. I think that given this new information, it's very easy to see Cora shift into Glabro.
What's going to be the difficulty, storyteller?
I mean, it's 7 to go into the half worms.
I've got 1 success.
Okay, so it's slow. It is a slow shift, and even it catches you off guard. But by the time that you close the distance to her, you can already tell that you are at least 6 inches taller than when you came into this room.
The heels are probably feeling a little awkward in my boots. And what I'm doing is I'm going to try and cover this with a hug to Anastasia. I gave one of the other girls some money. $6. Try and take care of yourselves. Is there anything in this room with my heightened senses now that I can smell that would possibly lead me to Alice?
There are hints of lavender. There are hints of what smells like bourbon, sweat, earth. That's about it. Everything else is coming off of whatever Anastasia's been doing. You're starting to get the increase of eggs. The bacon for sure is definitely starting to infuse itself in the room. Anything that would have been Alice's is already starting to fade.
It's real quick. I give her a hug. I'm going to go find Alice. It's very much that direct. I'm not playing around anymore.
Yeah.
And I let her go. And it is almost a beeline reaction. I'm heading down. I'm not going out the front door. If Pepe sees me, he definitely does see the shift. The clothing has stretched. Because Cora's clothing has been designed to be a little stretchy. The power of my ancestors is overcoming and palpable.
Yeah, normally Pepe has noticed that Cora's clothing is kind of flowy. It has this voluminous tinge to it. And as she is coming down the stairs and just kind of eyeballs you as she's making her way to the back entrance, you notice that every bit of clothing is now stretched taut. It is accentuating every muscle in her body because of how tightly it is attached to her. Like even the skirt now feels like it could be restrictive.
Oh, looks like
And she is a good 6 inches taller than you remember her being.
Looks like someone was having a good time early in the morning. Well, I do the sign of the cross, and I'm like, I bid you farewell, good sir. Thank you for teaching me the game of poker.
Yeah. Come on in whenever you want.
Sure.
If nobody's playing, we'll play for fun.
I think next time we can play for money. I mean,
Okay, sure. If you feel comfortable.
I mean, money is good, right? Money's good.
Yeah. Just don't get mad when I take your money. That's all I ask.
Yeah, I mean, it happens. This is a friendly game.
Mhm.
You win and you take and you lose.
Yep.
And all that. And then I tell him something in Spanish. Shit, I can't even think of anything right now that I would say.
Yeah. You say something slick. You say something slick and you get up. You following Cora?
Yeah, I go. I don't beeline to the back. I just
Yep.
right across, you know.
Saunter.
I'm like, yeah.
Yeah, Cora definitely has an urgency to her. Where is she going?
She has gone out the back door into the alley, and she is doing some deep breathing right now, but it's mainly in through the nose, trying to hold the scent that is Alice to try and make the trail, because she is going to wreck this man's shit.
Okay. So Bebe sees Cora outside, just kind of holding one arm to the wall, one arm onto her chest, and very slowly you can see her starting to shrink back down. Starting to take her usual height. The clothing is starting to loosen up. Starts to flow a little better.
Senora Cora, you all right? You okay?
I'm going to murder a man. That's what I'm going to do.
This is Victor fella, huh?
He apparently got punched, lost a tooth on premises. He then came back and demanded compensation. That compensation is that he would have Alice for the night, the woman that he beat.
No puede ser. No. No.
And she has not come back.
We know where Victor lives.
Mining camp.
It's just too much of a coincidence. Two people got punched last night and lost a tooth. And then we're supposed to meet at the mines, and Victor lives at the mining camp. Everything is just...
There's definitely this look to Cora here. 2 people got punched and lost a tooth?
Yeah, last night the guy who hurt poor artist, I punched him in the face and he lost a tooth.
So this?
The puzzle
And you're
pieces
telling
are
me,
falling
and then
into
you're
place in Cora's head.
Then you're telling me Victor also got punched. So it's like, man, this place is very rowdy inside. Nothing like your place, Cora. Get punched, lose their teeth. Or artists shouldn't come here no more. I shouldn't be here yet, but are you okay?
I'm thinking the person you punched and Victor are the same person. So this
Oh, so
bottom feeding scum of the earth, Malacca.
You keep saying that word maraca. I don't know if you know what that means.
It's Greek.
Oh.
I'm Greek, if you couldn't tell. It literally translates to man who masturbates. But we use it to basically mean asshole, bullshitter, falsifier.
I don't like where this is all going. I think we should find this Victor. Make him lose more than his teeth. Hopefully, find Alice.
He's going to be lucky. If Alice is alive, he may retain some manhood. If
wouldn't-
not, I'm taking the balls.
You can have the balls and everything. I'm not touching any of that.
And
Right?
I have my own.
as you guys take off, we see Jonathan coming up on the same scene. There is some kind of fight going on at the mining, the main path, and as you're coming up, you can see that they're just fighting. They are throwing punches. People are yelling. It sounds like some people just don't agree with something that another group is blatantly trying to get past. How do you want to approach the situation?
I'm gonna keep my distance.
Okay.
And I'm gonna look for my compatriots.
It's not too hard to see the simple tracks of what looks to be the I don't want to be racist, so I'm gonna ask what Walks with Spirits is wearing on his feet.
Black Soul's moccasin.
Okay. I didn't want to be the guy who hit it, so you were the guy.
No, they are my symbol of my tribe.
So you can see the non-boot shoe footprint and the booted shoe footprint of what should be Artis's smaller feet. And you can see them kind of leading off to a side.
Okay. Before I turn off, am I close enough to get some sense on forms?
On what they're fighting?
The people down there, if I could, I want to use sense true form on them.
Oh, you want to take a whiff of the air.
I just want to take a moment.
Okay.
Yeah, linger for a moment.
Okay. So make your perception and primal urge.
That would be just perception, sir.
Oh. Sounds good.
592.
Okay. There are no guru among them. There are also no kinfolk among them.
Okay.
But you can't sense if anything else might be lingering within them.
Okay. Yeah, I will. Good show, men. Good show, and then walk off towards the shoe prints.
Yeah. Since you did have to linger there to kind of get a bead on the scent of people, you hear somebody yell out, "I'm not going to jail for you, Victor." And then just people continue the fight.
That. Is there a way for me to tell who's yelling that at who?
No.
Can I get a beat on where he is? Okay. Cool.
No, there's just bodies everywhere, people punching.
Okay.
But you see that the two of them have led off into a little different area. It looks like one of the first tunnels that were constructed here, because they're a little bit off to the side. It doesn't look as impressively structured as the other ones. So this might have been something that was a scouting tunnel. How far deep into the tunnel would Artis and Walk with Spirits have gone?
I mean, if we haven't hit anything of significance, I would keep going.
Okay.
And I'm periodically trying to communicate to any spirits that might be around.
Yeah, out here, outside the Umbra, you're not gonna find anything. Nothing has shown itself to you yet. as you're about to hit maybe like 200 feet down, you can hear what sounds like somebody coming up the tunnel behind you.
Walks with spirits. Do you think that's one of ours?
Would Jonathan have used one of the torches on the wall? One of the lamps?
Yeah.
Since the spider
don't-
came with us, I'd ask the spider.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, you can see what looks to be the little bobbing light of somebody coming down behind you. And the spider just kind of raises its front legs up in a clapping position. It is my friend. He is coming.
The spider
The spider what?
says it's one of us.
Oh, okay. All right. By the way, walks with spirits. Do you have a lantern as well?
No, you've been guiding me this whole way.
Yeah. That's what I thought. But also, Jonathan's just gonna stumble upon people in the dark. You're just gonna walk and there's gonna be fucking people there.
It is
dark mole people.
It is like something out of the first Blair Witch, where it's like the light just creeps in out of the darkness, and you see this Native American in Walker Spirit just sitting next to this white Irish girl. And they're like both looking your direction, like you're the monster here.
This is how we World of Darkness, right?
This is how. This is how.
Anyone else in this time period had stumbled upon this, your time on this planet would not be long. How did you away with this girl? Oh man. Okay. I'm surprised to find them here, and
Yeah.
I'm glad I brought a light.
Yeah. And they were like frozen, waiting for you to get to them. So it is definitely one of the creepiest things you've ever seen before.
And I've seen wood condense into a tarantula.
Mm-hmm.
Condense. I will as soon as I approach them, I'll hello. And I'm going to reach out and pick up the spider spirit.
Yep. Yeah, it gladly jumps back onto your clothing.
As long as it's canonically possible that you're walking with spirits.
Yeah.
Right, you found us.
Hello. So news. They are definitely focused on mining the silver. As soon as they found it, they have been mining it consistently since then, under the guise of money for the city, which does make sense. I would have done the exact same thing. But I do know where the ledger is, and I want to look at those books before. I mean, at some point, to find out, to make sure everything is going where it's supposed to go. Because I don't know anything about this Pemberton and his associates.
You'd like to review paperwork now?
No, we're here now. We're in the mines. We gotta finish. We gotta finish whatever this is. Also, it'd probably be during the night. During the day, it probably wouldn't be great going in there and trying to steal a ledger. or yeah, I don't know.
Okay. I think your initial instinct to go at night to get the ledger would be a good idea.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because we're here now, and
yeah.
I trust you that it's daytime outside, but.
And I'm going to point out to the door or the entrance of the cave and say, is it not better to wait for Pepe and Cora so we can go together into this mine situation?
Sure, they could find us. I'm making good headway.
I'm glad
Right,
I brought a light.
spirits? We don't really need the light.
We were only going to go a certain ways down.
Okay.
We didn't think it'd be done so quickly. And then head back to see.
Can I use Sense Weaver?
Find the-
Yeah, sure can.
I use Sense Weaver.
Okay. Does it have a cost?
I don't know. Let's see, guys. I'm using Wormfo as my website for these things, and I don't know if it tells you if there's a cost because I haven't stumbled upon one yet.
Okay. Let me go to the actual gift then. In the Wild West book. You said it's Sense Weaver?
Yeah.
That's definitely going to be your Iron Rider.
Page
Gift.
156.
Thank you.
If you go to the actual gift on Wormfo, it'll actually give you the rolls.
Oh, look at that.
It tells me the rolls, yeah, but I haven't seen anything to say that they tell you the cost.
It'll tell you a cost if there is one.
If there is one, okay.
Yeah, no cost.
This one does say perception science, however, so I don't know if it's
That's
the same
not gonna
role.
work here.
Yeah, it's going to be crafts.
Well, mining rail, if there's rails or even the wooden structure, that's all Moderna.
Yep.
So it's, I think, yeah.
Yeah.
So sorry, what was it? Perception and what?
Perception and crafts.
And crafts. Okay.
Oh, excuse me.
Craft. Ha! Great. 0 on craft.
Oh man.
I love the modern day man. This is everything I put my points into. I am on top of it.
Well, let me see. Let me see if you have something that could do.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you know what? Replace it with add your technology to it instead.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was either going to say technology, science would have worked.
Okay. 2 3s, a 6, an 8, and a 7.
Okay. Yeah, you can sense that there's some tiny weaver spirits up ahead. You can sense the weaver spirits in some of the buttressing that they have done up ahead as well. It feels like there is more just outside of your senses in the other tunnels. Like there's been more attention to the other tunnels. This feels like it's very preliminary, very simple, kind of rough shot put together. But what troubles you is the fact that the little weaver spirits that you sense in front of you, maybe like 50 feet in front of you, are the same kind of weaver spirits you would find on clothing. Like they're small.
Is there anything I can roll to understand that better?
I mean, it feels like clothing. It feels like some kind of clothing has been discarded.
Oh, okay. I will carefully approach it.
Okay. So, artists and watch the spirits see, not see, but the artist definitely feels somebody walk in front of them. Walks the spirit sees Jonathan kind of step in front of the two of you and kind of step forward into the tunnel. And as his light starts to wash over the scene, the tunnel in front of you, you see a dead body.
Yeah.
Walks the spirit does. Artist does not see anything because she's
But
blind.
do I smell it?
No.
I immediately go to check the body.
Okay.
Yeah.
So artist feels, walks the spirits just stop holding your hand and just rushes ahead.
You're holding my hand.
So I didn't get lost.
Is there anything wrong?
It's a body.
Oh. An old one or a new one?
New one.
New
I
one.
can't smell it. Can I smell blood?
No.
Nothing.
Can I tell what killed her? Or how long she's been dead?
It looks like she's been dead for at least a few hours. And it looks like she's been beaten badly. Her face is been punched in.
Oh no!
And it looks like almost grotesquely like a hunter would drain a carcass before cutting into the good meat. She has been cut up in such a way to facilitate exsanguination.
And there's no blood?
No,
Okay, we're killing this fucker.
not here.
Not here. So this is the secondary location. I don't know any of this. I'm just speaking out
Yeah, crime drama.
loud.
I would.
Do we know any supernatural creature that does this?
I mean,
I think
vampires
the
would
supernatural creature.
vampires would
Okay.
drink the blood, not flail a creature in such a way to facilitate the exsanguination of it. Unless they didn't want to leave a body behind to prove that they exist.
There's no blood left.
I can't smell it. I was wondering about that. Does it seem like there's a wound?
Several.
Yeah, but I
Yeah.
don't know this. So I'm
Yeah.
asking Walks with Spirits and or Jonathan,
Okay.
who's been quiet.
Could I do a more, whatever thorough, and it's multiple wounds. I know this already.
Yeah, you can if you lift the dress, you can see that up and down the body, up and down the legs, up and down the arms. You can just see that it is with a hunter's precision that certain arteries and veins have been cut.
And definitely by a blade, not
Yeah.
a claw.
Yeah, this is a blade. Clean edge.
We never met Alice, right?
No.
And
Nope.
does this person look familiar at all?
It looks like a woman, maybe somebody that could have worked at the Apple.
Well, is there a wound?
Many.
I'm gonna snap out of whatever shock I was in
Mhm.
from finding a body in the dark.
Yep.
I'll explain to Artis that it does seem like the body was flayed and exsanguinated. Sorry, go ahead. I'm gonna ask,
Go to the
do we feel good about the law enforcement in this town?
You never met the sheriff or any of his deputies.
No, I ask
Oh.
Walks with Spirits and Artists if they've met have you guys met the law enforcement and do we like them, or is the Karen good with them?
I don't think Walks with Spirits is particularly fond of anyone.
in my experience, the laws of the impure peoples are always unjust.
And
I'd have to agree with you on that one.
I barely just arrived, so I can't make any judgments.
Yeah, same.
I would assume that the first person that we would tell would be Cora, because she knows everything.
Yeah.
All the time.
Oh.
Especially
Good
she
to
would
know.
know any of the women in the town.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And this is a woman. Is she young?
Oh,
Can I tell?
I was gonna
Yeah.
Is she young?
Looks to be about mid-20s, late 20s.
Quite.
Yeah.
Oh boy. I hope this isn't one of Cora's girls. I don't think she said any of them were missing.
Walks with spirits. Do you think it'd be a good idea to pick this body up and take it outside, or leave it here?
We should
I
take
think it would be best if we just went to the mouth of the mine.
it. We can't leave her here though.
We'll be guarding the body from there.
What if something comes from, and I point towards the inside of the mine to get her?
Then we have bigger problems.
Artist
Fair.
kind of like Artist furrows her brow and she
Oh.
has this plan in her head and she goes, "You could leave me with her and I'll protect her and you guys can go back to the mouth. It's not like I'm doing anything else at the moment."
The reason why I did sense Weaver was because I wanted to see if I could find a healthy batch of them, in the off chance that you walks with spirits can speak to spirits, which I've seen you do before. Maybe you can ask them some questions about what happened?
As we've been descending into the dark, that is what I was trying to do.
Yeah.
I found no spirits willing to talk in this stretch. Perhaps this body indicates why.
Okay. And you can see because I assume I'm the only one who can at this point, unless... Do you see the Weaver spirit on this body currently? And I
What?
point at some of the spiders.
They are not materialized, so no, nobody can see them.
Just, I can sense
You
them.
can sense them, yeah.
Okay. I'm learning all about spirit stuff.
Yeah, look at you.
All bright and shiny.
Oh, like the cities of tomorrow.
Yep.
Your face.
Like our skies used to be.
Yes. Someday we'll come up with the technology to fix the skies after we've already ruined them. Yeah, I think at least one of us, if at the very least, should go up to the mouth and wait for Cora and Pepe. But whoever did this might be back.
Pepe.
And
Pepe.
there's a chance that if we move the body, we may be accused of doing this.
Well,
Yeah.
Artist takes a seat and like kind of like crisscrosses her legs
Mhm.
and breaks out one of her rosaries and she's like, "I can stay here. It's fine. I have plenty of things I could do.
The second
I'll wait."
artist's butt lands on the hard kind of stone floor of the mine, and the rosary is brought out, you just hear this roar come up from inside the tunnel, and you feel the whole tunnel shake.
Ma dib.
So it was the rosary that did it?
Wadib? Is that what you said?
Yeah.
Wow. We're hating it up in here.
Yeah, we cut deep here in this channel.
Deep. We should go.
Yeah. But we can't leave her, so now we have to take her.
Well, that thing might chase us if we take her with us.
Well, there's no scent of blood, so what
It
would
might
they
chase
have?
us either way. I'm just gonna grab the body.
Oh yeah. Okay, that's fair. Okay.
Yep.
At that roar.
Yeah.
I mean, have any of us ever heard something like that before?
You have heard bears before.
It's a bear?
And this sounds like if a bear had been dragged through hell and clawed itself back out into the real world, that's what it sounds like.
Winnie the Pooh of no honey.
Yep.
I'm gonna grab since since I have a torch,
Yeah.
and now we're probably gonna be moving faster than normal.
Yeah.
I'm going to put my hand on the back of Walks with Spirits, and I'm gonna grab Artist by the wrist, and I'm gonna just start. We're gonna walk in a line.
Are you
I
holding
mean,
the
we're only
torch?
200 feet from the entrance.
You're right. I'm holding the torch, so I don't have my hand on your back, but I have it. I'm holding it over your shoulder, and I'm like, move. I don't want to be here, man.
So I'm in the back.
Yeah.
Fair.
Yeah. And you can hear the sound of stone grinding against stone. This thing roars again. There's this guttural growl of just ferocity unbridled coming up behind you. And you know for a fact that you could not have come down that far into the tunnel, but as you're running, it feels like this thing goes on forever. Like the little kind of coin-shaped spot of the entrance of this tunnel does not become wider, does not become larger. It just stays at a constant distance, and all you hear is this thing gaining ground behind you. Cora and Pepe, where are you two right now?
We
They're at that
approaching the
kick.
mining camp with point and purpose.
Okay. You get
Try
to
not to get in Cora's way. I kind of keep behind her because I'm pretty sure I see this is what I picture in my head. Cora just like head first, just like going like a train.
by the time you get up the mining route itself, you can see that the sheriff and some of his deputies have what looks to be broken up a fight between some people. And you can see that some people have been tied up and kind of made to kneel in front of them. And there's what looks to be some kind of questioning going on. But you can easily skirt around it and go up towards the mining camp. I don't think Cora's in a position to see tracks. So, Pepe, if you could make a perception and alertness check for me.
Yes, will do.
We'll see if you can spot the moccasin
Perception.
boot trail.
Yeah, perception. What else?
Perception alertness. Or investigation, whichever is higher.
Yeah, alertness. It will be.
Okay.
Nothing in investigation.
We're learning so much about you.
Okay, 2257.
Okay.
One success.
Yeah.
I guess.
2. It's not too difficult to see them. You see that the trail north leads to the camp where the miners kind of have made their home. You can see as you're starting to climb up some of the ramshackle buildings that exist as kind of like an outhouse, as a kind of communal area, but you mostly see the tents in the distance. You also see that there are 2 tunnels where it looks like Artis's boots and Walks with Spirits moccasins have kind of walked towards. And it looks like there's a 3rd pair of shoes leading into it as well. You can almost imagine that this is where they've gone. There's no prints coming out of the tunnel, though.
Look at Cora. She. How close are we to the people?
They're back down the mountain. Like they're at the very first kind of shelf where the new tunnels have been built. This is off the beaten path up to where the first scouting tunnels were built into the mountain itself. This is the prime site. of where the mining started. They're now at the new site where the mining is continuing.
Well, good news, Senora Cora, is looks like artists and walks with spirits is here, and guessing Suits is also with them. Pero,
Good. That's good.
but I don't see. I don't know. I see if I remember if I saw Victor in the crowd.
Yeah. The one that you punched was one of the guys who was tied up.
And this Victor fella, he was the ones that was tied up. The sheriff and his deputies.
You feel the mountain shake slightly. And you just hear this soft echo of something roaring in the distance in the tunnels.
That can't be good. And damn, the constabulary are here. I was hoping to deal with this myself.
What was that? Sounded like it came from the mines.
They went
Right.
in, didn't they?
The tracks I'm seeing is pointing in that direction. Nothing coming out.
Okay. Can I do Call of the Wild to kind of alert them that we're running and we're in the tunnels?
Call of the Wild.
Mm-hmm. It is kind of like my everyone in the vicinity will hear me cry.
Yeah. Let me go to the gift and see what it requires of you.
I don't think it requires anything. I don't see it at least.
You shut your mouth.
Wait, stamina and huh?
What?
What? The player rolls stamina plus empathy.
Okay. Is that your Fiona gift?
No, it's my Galliard gift.
Oh, okay. Look at you using your...
My thingies.
Yeah. Call of the Wild. Stamina and empathy.
Stamina's 3 and empathy is... What the fuck is it? Oh, 2.
Oh, 5 dice.
Cool.
So you're just screaming for help.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So I'm hoping Cora and Pepe are gonna hear me.
Yeah.
What's the threshold for a success?
So 6 or higher.
6 or higher.
Yeah.
2 8s, a 1, and a 4 and a 3.
So the one takes away one of the successes.
Yeah, so you get 1 success.
Okay.
Yeah, so you scream out. What do you scream?
This is, just a howl. I don't know. I don't
Remember, you're in human form, so your howl is basically just a scream. Like, unless you're making a mockery of a howl. Yeah.
I feel like
A woman?
no.
Oh.
I'm trying to think of a word that would instantly alert both of them.
A natural woman.
Beep, 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 beep. That's all you get.
I said, oh fuck, I don't know her name. I know it's Alice, but I don't know her. I just know her name.
Yeah.
All right, then I just call out for Cora in general because I feel like Cora would freak out if I called her name from a cave.
There's a moment as Pepe and Cora are debating the 3 options in front of them: going to the camp, going down to talk to the sheriff and Victor, or going into the tunnel. And there's a very soft, just echo. Like, it's almost not even like the primary echo. It's like the secondary or tertiary echo of just Cora's name being yelled out.
What the?
Did I hear it too?
Yeah.
Of course, I'm gonna follow.
Heard that, right?
Yes. Could I tell it was Artis?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Okay. It's the turtle dove.
Let's not waste any more time, huh?
Yep.
And
Nope.
start running in that direction.
As you cross the threshold of this tunnel, Cora has felt it before. I don't think Pepe has. But it feels like the second you cross into the darkness that the sunlight leaves its angular conal shape of bleeding into the tunnel, it feels like you've stepped sideways. Like the tunnel takes on a new hue. You can hear the huffing and puffing of the three of them kind of running. And you hear now that stone grinding against stone. The tunnel starts to elongate in front of you. It starts to widen into this cavern. And before you, you see what looks to be these 3 coyotes that are made of stone and rock and shifting sand. And behind them, draped in the carcass of a bear that looks to have been similarly filleted to Alice. Underneath this carcass, you see dirt and grass and rock and sand and shards of gold and iron and silver swirling around it as a stormborn bear comes into the enclosure and roars its challenge at the 5 of you. And you see that this is what has become of the children of Yonag. This is also where we're going to leave for tonight. So, I'd like to thank all of you for tuning in and joining us for our episode of Werewolf the Wild West. As always, please continue to wash your hands, continue to keep your distance, continue to wear your masks in public, regardless of what some of our lawmakers believe, because we're still not out of the woods yet. If you are of age and you can get yourself vaccinated, please get yourself vaccinated. It's the only way to really stop this thing from spreading and mutating any further. As always, we are very much in the camp of helping people with mental health issues. We take it very seriously here on the channel, so if you feel like you need help and you're watching live, there are phone numbers going up on our Twitch chat, because it is okay to not be okay, and people need to know that. So please, if you feel like you need help, there are resources available, and you just need to reach out and find the resource that helps you the best. If you are not in the United States, there's a link going up. All of this will be in the description box below if you're watching on YouTube. But please consider getting help. There's nothing taboo or stigmatized about mental health. It's part of our general health. Don't feel like you need to write things out on your own, like if you need to be a macho man about it. Help is help, and sometimes we need it. So please, if you feel like you need it, there are resources that you can call on. As always, you can join us on Friday for our Star Wars game, where you'll see one of our faces come back. Saturday, we're having our special one-shot, part 2 of a one-shot that we did last month, so you'll see a couple of faces come back. Monday, we will be going into our Camarilla chapter of our Salem by Night Chronicle, and Tuesday, unfortunately, will no longer be for L5R or for Werewolf the Wild West, as I will be running Mage The Ascension, the 3rd season of a Mage game over at McStabber Studios, so please check them out, give them a follow. I think you're going to like what we're doing. It's Mage 20th edition with some tweaks, but set in 1980s Miami, Florida, so you know that the 3 things are going to be true about this game. There's going to be drugs, there's going to be scantily clad people, and there's going to be fuckery. So I hope you join us for that. If not, just keep your eyes open, because we will come back with our Legend of the Five Rings. We did have a mid-season finale. This was our mid-season finale for Werewolf, and I got a nice little hook at the end there. So we definitely do want to come back to see what happens with these characters. But as always, take care of yourselves, take care of each other, and we will see you when we see you. Have a good night.